Hi, this is Jorge from Syncit.net. In this video, I want to show you how you can do glass inside Photoshop. We'll go over the theory, how you can add light dispersion, and finally, how you can automate the whole chain to have just one-click actions. I'll leave all the resources and final files on the description. And like always, you can check Syncit.net for all kinds of graphic design resources. So let's go over everything. Here I have my test board with some light values in different shapes. This is my base layer, and when I apply the Displace filter, you would see the only unchanged shape is going to be this 50% gray circle. By reducing the opacity, you will see what I mean. Why is this important? So anything that goes above that 50% is going to be displaced down, and the opposite for darker tones. What Displace doesn't take into account is where the light is going. So that is the key difference between Displace and the glass filter. Now when I switch to the glass filter, you will see what I mean. Right off the bat, there's not many things happening, and this is because the glass filter looks only for light value changes, and it takes into account those. So when I zoom in, you will see those tiny pixels that are giving information to the filter to apply the effect. That was the filter with no smoothness, but when I show you guys this, you will see the key difference. Mostly on the bottom ones, the effect is applied more like glass to a sphere with a simple setup. Now in this comparison, you can see the differences between the effects, and it's really the same displacement map. So now that you know the theory, let's go over the automation and how to make the action. Before we create the action, just make a selection of anything. This will make it so much easier down the line. Now you can create your action and start recording. The first step is going to be duplicating our layer, and make sure you use the right click onto the layer and use that option. Otherwise you won't get the same result. Next, we want to create another layer, and this is where displacement is going to live. I'm just going to call it effect and fill it with any color. Then just double click the layer and go into the layer styles. For this, we want some slopes of light values to go onto the edges. By adding some inner shadows and inner glow, we can achieve this effect. And also we have to fill it with color overlay set to black. Next, we want to save this document anywhere you can remember, because we will be using this for our displacement map. Now that we have saved the document, and that is going to be our displacement map, we can delete the layer styles layer. And since we only want the effect to take place in that selected area, we're going to apply a layer mask. But before we go into filter gallery, select the thumbnail. That way the effect takes place there. Now we can go into filter gallery and go into distort, glass, and select the glass filter. Now by clicking on the small icon, we can load the texture and just select the document we just saved. You can play around with the settings. I find that 20 is good for this action, but you can play around with the smoothness and everything else. And since we only distorted the image, we need to add some highlights, and this is where layer styles come in. So you can copy my settings, but in reality the best practice is going to be for you to play around with the settings. I added some bevel and emboss, and obviously some inner shadows to add those rim highlights. After you're done, you can stop recording, delete the layer, and try what you just made. You can make any selection, hit play, and without any user input, you will see the effect take place. Now, if you want to add light dispersion to the action, we can use the one we have as a base. So I'll show you how. Just duplicate the one we have and rename it to anything else, like glass RGB. Also select the last two steps and delete them. And to make sure we can start again, just make a selection and play the action. After that, you can click the last step and begin recording again. The first step is going to be copying our layer, since we will be pasting it to add the other channels. But first, let's begin with the red one. So go, double click the layer and select only the red channel. Now we can go ahead and click on filter gallery and again apply the glass effect. But super important that you select the correct texture again, so make sure you do that first. Now, we want to go in increments, so red is going to be the lowest values. That's why I have selected 7 for both. It's very important that you paste in place. You can do this by pressing Ctrl-Shift-B. And now we can follow the same steps, but for the green channel. Just double click, select the green channel, go back into filter gallery, make sure you have the correct map selected, and increment the size. And for the last step, You guessed it, just paste in place again, select only the blue channel and max out the settings. Again, don't forget to select the correct file. And for the last time, we're gonna paste in place again, and this is going to be our highlights layer. Just double click and make sure your fill opacity is set to 0 and just apply the same effects. After that, you can stop recording, test out your action, and you will see again, no user input and the effect takes place. And after you have this chain done, you can experiment with different effects. In this case, I have some Gaussian blurs on the chain, but you can experiment with any kinds of effects. Here's another one with some patterns on the displacement layer style, and it's going to affect how the glass is being rendered. And like I said in the beginning, all the downloads are in the description. And before you use them, just make sure you double click on the saves and on the filter galleries and select your own save location. Otherwise, it won't work. Now, thank you so much for watching the entire video. You can always check syncit.net for more awesome assets, and I'll see you guys in the next one.